Buckle up, baby. Buckle up, baby. Down in the dark where the cold spots bloom, Dudley's got a tail, Quinn cracks the gloom. Hear the knock, hear that hiss, something's near. You don't want to miss. Buckle up, baby. It's buckle up, baby. Dudley and Quinn, they take you there. Buckle up, baby. It's buckle up, baby. Ghosts in the room and shivers in the air.
Buckle up, baby. Welcome back, guys. This is Buckle Up, Baby on Good Vibes and Bad Decisions podcast. I am Quinn and I am the co-host for this one. The beautiful host is my best friend in the entire world, my Gypsy Alicia. Say hello to your audience, my
Hi.
darling. There she is. That's her. So listen, she has got a very, very weird and interesting paranormal case for us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it before we go into it, my babes? Let everybody know.
So I think most people who have an interest in the paranormal and have looked into it in the UK know
Hmm.
about the Station Hotel in Dudley
Yep.
and the murder, the mystery, and the hauntings of Castle Hill. So we're going to get into it. Are you
So
ready?
just before you get into it though, what made you choose this one? What made this what made it stand out to you?
Well, I have family links in Dudley,
Aha.
and also I have seen it on some paranormal TV shows, documentaries that I've watched.
That's how I know it.
But also, it was recommended by my fiance. Tank.
There we go. By her fiance. That's
By
my
my
brother
fiance.
Tank. What a shout out, bro. Right, okay, listen, I got my buckle up t-shirt on, my cup, my candy, and all my stuff I need. Everybody make sure you're ready. Put your lights off and get scared because, it's not fright night unless it's dark. And let's all chill. Over to you, my beautiful host. Take it away.
Beneath the polished reception rooms and elegant corridors of the Station Hotel lay a world few guests ever saw. The cellar was a place built for function, not comfort. Far below the hotel's warm glow, stone steps descended into the earth. Each step carried visitors farther from the sounds of the conversation above. The laughter from the bar disappeared, and the clink of glasses faded into silence. Only the damp remained. The air felt heavier underground, cool, still, ancient. The walls appeared to close in as the staircase twisted downwards into darkness. Moisture collected in the mortar between old bricks, leaving dark stains that glistened in the glow of a lantern. At the foot of the stairs, the cellar opened into a network of storage chambers. Rows of wooden barrels stretched into shadow. Coal bins sat against rough brick walls. Archways connected one chamber to another, creating blind corners where the light struggled to reach. Every movement produced an echo. Every footstep seemed to belong to someone else walking just behind you. A single lantern flame would have illuminated only a small circle of floor. Beyond that circle, nothing but darkness. The ceiling overhead was low in places, supported by time-blackened beams. Pipework disappeared into the gloom. Dust hung motionless in the air. The deeper sections were the most unnerving. Corridors narrowed there. The darkness became almost physical, a wall of blackness waiting beyond the reach of the light.
Anyone walking alone would constantly have that feeling that anyone walking alone would constantly have the feeling that something stood just be on site, watching, waiting, listening. Standing beneath the shadow of Dudley Castle, the Station Hotel has long occupied a unique place in black country folklore. To some, it's a historic Victorian hotel that welcomes celebrities, performers, and travellers for more than a century. To others, it is one of Britain's most haunted buildings, a location where tales of murder, hidden bodies, ghostly apparitions, and the unexplained phenomena have persisted for decades. Today, we explore both sides of the story: the documented history of the hotel, the alleged murder that forms the centre of its ghost story, and the paranormal claims that continue to attract investigators and curiosity seekers.
The story begins during the industrial expansion of the Black Country. Dudley's railway station opened in 1850, increasing the flow of workers, businessmen, and visitors into the town. As industry flourished, local leaders decided that existing accommodation was insufficient for growing demand. A new and grander hotel was proposed, leading to the construction of what became the Station Hotel. Construction began in the late 19th century, and the hotel opened in stages before being completed in the early 20th century. Located on Castle Hill, directly opposite Dudley Castle, the Station Hotel quickly became a landmark, as theatres and entertainment venues flourished nearby. Performers and celebrities frequently stayed there. Accounts linked to the hotel's history state that guests included Laurel and Hardy, George Formby, Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, and Frank Sinatra.
For many years, the Station Hotel represented the glamour of a thriving industrial town. Yet, alongside that respectable image, darker stories began to emerge. At the heart of the Station Hotel's supernatural reputation is the story of a young chambermaid named Elizabeth Hitchin, sometimes referred to simply as Elizabeth in the paranormal accounts. According to local legend, Elizabeth worked at the hotel as a servant. The story alleges that she was murdered by the hotel's manager, commonly identified in the ghost stories as George Williams or George Williamson. Reports claim she was lured into the cellar and brutally killed. Her body was allegedly concealed before eventually being discovered.
A crucial point for any true crime examination is that the historical evidence for this alleged murder appears limited. Paranormal writers and investigators frequently note that many records associated with the hotel's early history have reportedly been lost or destroyed, making verification difficult. As a result, researchers face a challenge. The murder story is firmly embedded in local folklore, but is not accompanied by readily available contemporary documentation in the sources reviewed. What can be said with confidence is that the tale has become the foundation upon which much of the hotel's haunted reputation rests.
The murder of Elizabeth is not the only dark story linked to the property. Reports featured in paranormal literature and the media investigations describe further tales involving the hotel's cellars. One recurring story claims that the remains of two children were once hidden in the ale barrels in the cellar. The same stories suggest that screams, cries, and strange disturbances have been associated with this underground area. Again, these claims are part of the hotel's folklore, rather than independently verified criminal history. However, they do illustrate how the Station Hotel developed a reputation as a place where tragedy and the supernatural became intertwined.
Whether the murder occurred exactly as described or not, guests and staff have reported unusual experiences for many years. The most frequently reported apparition is said to be the ghost of Elizabeth. Witnesses describe a distressed young woman appearing in corridors. Some accounts portray her as bloodied or visibly injured, as though carrying the wounds of her alleged murder. Other reports include 2 ghostly children associated with the cellar legends, a mysterious male figure seen sitting in room 214, various shadowy figures observed by guests and investigators. According to reports, encounters have involved sightings, sudden cold spots, phantom footsteps, unexplained noises, and sensations of being watched.
The station hotel's reputation expanded dramatically after appearing on the television series Most Haunted in 2003. During the programme's investigation, the crew explored reports of apparitions and alleged paranormal activity within the building. Claims associated with television investigations included movement of furniture in room 214, reports of beds shaking and lights turning on and off in 217, psychic interpretations linking phenomena to past deaths associated with the hotel. The publicity generated by such programs helped cement the station hotel's reputation as one of the most haunted locations in the Midlands. BBC Radio Stoke later described it as one of the UK's most haunted hotels.
From a true crime perspective, it is important to distinguish between documented fact and local legend. The Station Hotel unquestionably has a rich history and a significant place in Dudley's heritage. It hosted famous visitors and stood at the centre of a changing industrial landscape. The alleged murder of Elizabeth forms the backbone of the haunting narrative, but available sources largely repeat the story rather than providing primary evidence. Likewise, claims of hauntings rely on witness testimony, paranormal investigations, and folklore rather than scientific proof. For skeptics, the hotel's atmosphere, old architecture, underground cellars, long corridors, and a history filled with rumours provides fertile ground for ghost stories to flourish.
The Station Hotel occupies a fascinating space between history and legend. On one hand, it is a tangible relic of Victorian and Edwardian Dudley, once frequented by entertainers and travellers passing through the industrial heart of England. But on the other, it has become the setting for one of the Black Country's most enduring ghost stories, the tale of Elizabeth, the murdered chambermaid whose spirit allegedly never left the building. If the legends are true, then it was somewhere within this underground maze that Elizabeth took her final steps. One moment, she would have heard the faint sounds of the hotel above. The next, only a strip of water from stone, the creak of timber, the whisper of movement somewhere in the dark, and then silence. The kind of silence that seems to absorb sound itself. The kind of silence that makes you afraid to look over your shoulder.
Because deep beneath the Station Hotel, surrounded by stone, shadow, and the weight of the earth above, there is nowhere to run, only darkness and whatever might be waiting within it. And so, our story comes to an end, or perhaps it never really ends at all. Tonight, as the streets of Dudley grow quiet and the lights of Castle Hill fade into the darkness, the Station Hotel still stands beneath the watchful gaze of the ancient castle above. Generations have come and gone, the coal smoke has cleared, the railway that once brought crowds to its doors has fallen silent, but some stories refuse to leave.
Somewhere in the darkness, beneath the building, the cellars remain, cold, silent, waiting. The stone walls have witnessed every footstep, every whispered conversation, every secret buried beneath decades of history. If those walls could speak, what would they tell us? Would they tell us what happened to Elizabeth on the night that she vanished? Or would they reveal whether she truly descended those steps, never to return?
Or would they remain silent, keeping their secrets as they have for more than a century? Perhaps that's why the story endures. Not because we know what happened, but because we don't. Because there is something deeply unsettling about an unanswered question, a missing piece, a shadow that can't be explained. And maybe that's why guests still report seeing a woman standing alone in an empty corridor, why investigators continue to descend into the cellar, and why so many people leave believing they were not alone. Because somewhere deep within us, we wonder.
What if the dead never truly leave the places where their stories end? So if you ever find yourself standing outside the station hotel after dark, beneath the looming silhouette of Dudley Castle, take a moment to listen. Listen to the wind moving through the old brickwork. Listen to the creaks and the groans of a building that has watched over generations. And if somewhere below you think you hear the faint echo of footsteps on stone, don't follow them.
Because some mysteries are best left in the dark, and some ghosts may still be looking for a way home. Sleep well, and whatever you do, don't look over your shoulder on the way out.
I wonder what happened to her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's really satisfying to cover a case like this because I like to be able to try and solve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
you
I'm
are
not
like a
saying the
super
case.
sleuth.
Yeah, I like to be the one who tries to figure it out, and I like to be the one who goes through and tries to do all that stuff. But
Yeah.
what do you make of this case?
I think that a building of this size, in its location, like
Yeah,
how it has, this is the thing that baffles me. You've got Dudley Castle on the one hand, which is ancient and
yeah,
will have been the site of battles and killings and assassinations and all kinds of murderous history. But
yeah,
it's outshone by the station hotel that sits at the foot of the hill
yep.
and the paranormal activity there. And that to me does not make any sense whatsoever. But then you know me, I come at things from a historical standpoint. And I think the story of Elizabeth is a historical story. But
Yeah,
for
it
me,
absolutely is.
in my mind, the story of the castle goes even deeper, you know? So maybe, because you've got to think where the station hotel sits, it sits on ground where battles happened, where people died in extreme pain. You know, it might even stand on the site of where they had a gibbet, or you know, where they hung people or beheaded people. We don't know what happened on that land before the
I
station
think
hotel came there.
I think that what bothers me about cases like this, right? And I've got some information for everybody. What bothers me about cases like this is people trying to capitalize off it. Because when people
Hmm.
capitalize off it, what they do then is actually diminish the history of the place, and then it becomes always about the person that tried to capitalize off it. Now, I want to take a second and talk about Most Haunted and Derek Acora. And I do feel like Derek Acora really tried to capitalise off this because we all know Derek Acora as a fraud. Derek Acora was publicly exposed as a fake in 2005. His production crew of Most Haunted tricked him into channeling two fabricated spirits, Creed Kafer and Rick Edels, which, by the way, are anagrams of Derek Faker and Derek Lies. Now, the expose was orchestrated by a parapsychologist, Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, and he had been working on the show to investigate claims of the paranormal. Now, O'Keefe had painted the fake names and details amongst the crew when Akora arrived on set at the Bodmin. He claimed to be possessed by the spirit of Creed Kafer and communicated extensively with him. Because the spirit was a total fabrication, it did prove that Akora was receiving inside information and then making up encounters on the spot. Now, following the broadcast and the scandal that come with that, Akora was sacked for Most Haunted, and
Mhm.
the producer Yvette Fielding subsequently confirmed that she had let him go because his acts were revealed to be fraudulent. Now, this is what angers me: is the people that own historical places like this, where real things have happened and people have caught real paranormal activity, and these walls are screaming to tell a story. You
Yeah.
have people like this who capitalise on it, who use it to give them a platform. And this is what's happened to a lot of the places. Now, you've got to think, how many places did Derek Acora investigate on Most
Oh,
Haunted, babe?
hundreds. Hundreds.
And he was exposed in 2005 for being fraudulent. Now, what that actually does is it's not only makes him a liar and makes him disgusting, vile, and all the things, because he has actually sat there, spoken to mothers and fathers who've lost children. He's done shows where he's given psychic readings publicly on pay-per-view
Hmm.
television, and he has been exposed to be a fraud. So he's not only diminishing the activity and the ancient history of these properties, he's actually done nothing but disrespect the dead, and he has went in to grieving families. He has literally shit all over the reef because of what he's done to make money. People
Yeah.
were paying him thousands for 30 minutes so they could finally say goodbye or make sure a loved one that had passed was okay. This man is a POS. And not only what he did to the Dudley, but what he did to everybody else is astonishingly fucking disgusting. I'm sorry I swore there. But it really, really gets me going, because this hotel doesn't need Derek Acora, and this hotel didn't need Most Haunted. This hotel has built its own reputation on paranormal activity that has been documented, Gypsy. It's real.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think of the whole Most Haunted Derek Acora thing, going there and actually he's trying to capitalise and get famous off one of the locations that we've spoken about?
I feel like we've had conversations before, like when I bought my house, I walked
Mm-hmm.
in and I just felt like I was at home, and
Mm-hmm.
we found out why later on down the line.
Yeah,
Um,
we absolutely did.
you know, human intuition and human connection with the other side is something that people who exploit that, they are incredibly dangerous people, because they shape human opinion, they
Yeah,
shape
they
public
do.
opinion, they serve to make a mockery of something that's actually really serious.
Yeah,
And I just listen. I was one of the people that watched Most Haunted religiously, mostly because my mother was heavily into it. But
yeah.
I got invested in the stories. I got invested in everything about it. But when we found out that Derek Acora was a charlatan, I was not surprised.
You hated him anyway, didn't you? You were like, this
Yeah,
is not right, there's
did
something.
not like him.
Yeah, but the thing that gets me is that this hotel has earned its own reputation. Anybody
Hmm.
that wants to double check the facts, just Google the paranormal activity at the Dudley Hotel, guys, and it will come up and tell you. It's not hard to find. You know, this hotel is famous for things like shaking beds, moving furniture,
Yep.
shadowy apparitions. You know, and to
Hmm.
room 217, you know, the bed was filmed shaking violently. The lights were going on and off without any human contact. This
There
hotel did not need Most
was,
Haunted. Most Haunted needed the Dudley Hotel.
yeah, exactly. There was recorded activity not only in Most Haunted but in other shows as well in room 214. And 214 seems to be the room that is most active
Yeah, it's got
in
the most
that
sort of,
hotel.
yeah,
Yeah.
most. Do you think that this hotel, right? So we'll move away from Derek Acora and the whole
Hmm.
him because he is a fraud, and we're not going to give him a lot of light. I might even do an episode with Gypsy on him, and let everybody know. No, do not ever watch anything with him in it. He's a liar. Do you know? We might actually do an episode exposing psychics,
Yeah.
so you know not to give these people any airtime, because I don't care about how these people feel, and I don't give two shits about exposing them on the podcast, because I am not here for fakery and fuckery. I am here for real proper stories, real heartwarming stories to help victims. So, in exposing these fake psychics, we are in fact helping these victims. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can, that might be an episode further down the line, but let's leave that to the side because he doesn't deserve any more recognition on this video because this video is about this hotel. And as Gypsy said, room 214 is the most active room in this hotel, and without any paranormal team investigating it, this room for how many years, hundreds now, since the
Yeah.
early 1800s, has had so many reports of paranormal activity. There is so many guests were waking up to dark figures standing over them. I could not imagine going to bed and waking up and having that whole theory, seeing something looming over me. I think I'd wake up with that. Do you know when you're not able to move? Do you know
Oh,
what I'm
that's true.
saying? I would be
Yeah.
terrified if I went to a hotel and I woke up and I saw a figure. And, I think it would end up with like one of those situations where I'd have sleep paralysis and I wouldn't be able to move. I'd be terrified. Could you
Yeah.
imagine? You've got activity in your house. You live without giving your location away or making any identifying sort of comments.
Yeah.
But I always call you Anne Frank as a joke, don't I? Because you have a converted sort of townhouse, don't you? You
Yeah.
have like a lot of floors in your house, and you converted the top house where you live. So I have always called her Anne Frank because she lives way at the top of the half mansion, and she does have activity in her home because her home is very old, isn't it?
It is. It was built in 1912, so it's an Edwardian era building,
You
and
still have original flooring and everything, don't you?
yeah,
Our house is masterful, guys. It's beautiful. It's got so many original features. And if you watched the What's Your Favourite Scary Movie, Gypsy, go and see some of the weird artifacts that she's got in the house. Like this lady, if you want paranormal, she's the man, aren't you? You've got it all really where it is, and you live, without giving anything away near a graveyard, which then adds on to
literally,
the
it's back of
spookiness
my
of your
house.
house, doesn't
Yeah.
it? So
Well,
it does, it
listen, I
adds
always
on to
say the
it.
neighbours are quiet. You know.
Yeah, because they're all bloody poltergeists. There's no real person in that street. It's
But
occupied by entities.
I will say that at a time when I was working nights,
Mm-hmm.
I would not walk past that graveyard after dark on my walk home from work, and you have to pass that graveyard. I could walk through it on the day to go to work,
Yeah,
but
I've
coming
seen
back
it.
from work, but coming back from work at night, I would not walk past it. I would literally cross the road and walk on the opposite side of the road to my house
And
and then
then
cross the
cross
road
again.
again.
See, I've seen this graveyard, guys, and I get it. I walk by it a lot when I'm with her. I spend half my time
It's a
in
beautiful
Scotland and half my
graveyard
time in
though.
Wales. It is gorgeous, and like where it's sat is just so picturesque and so beautiful, right? And it is really old. But when it comes to like paranormal activity, I feel like I'm sort of like, do you know when a kid, right? The best way for me to explain it to you, and I have seen a lot of proven paranormal activity in my life, so I absolutely believe in it, but I just don't believe in
Hmm.
it in every single case, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of a skeptic until I'm not.
Yeah, and I
And
think that's healthy is to have a
yeah,
healthy skepticism. You know, just because you believe in the paranormal doesn't mean that every paranormal story is true.
that's it. And I feel like I'm kind of like a child, right, when it comes to that. But and I look at it like this, and after you hear it, you'll probably agree. Do you know when you find out that Santa Claus is, you know, I'm not going to say it, but when you find out about Santa
I
Claus,
refuse that you
right?
just say it
I am
because
not say. Well, I say it.
um when you find out that Santa Claus comes from myth,
Yes,
then
then yeah, that's it. And but you're too worried to say, "Oh no, I don't believe that," just in case you don't get anything at Christmas.
yeah,
I'm like, right, that's like me with paranormal activity. I am not going to say it's no there, just in case it wants to prove itself to me. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm quite happy with, I'll stand over the road and watch it. And that's
yeah,
me. And am I right though, Gypsy? All the way through.
yeah.
Like that's me. I'm not saying it doesn't exist because I know and I've seen things that are unexplainable. I absolutely get it, but I am definitely not willing to get my feet wet and jump in. Like I'll tell you that.
Listen,
But
there are times in my house when I can walk up and down the stairs at all times of the day and night, and I'm absolutely fine. But every now and again, just occasionally, as I'm walking past the window that overlooks the graveyard, I have to run past that.
see, and listen, like her house, like I said, it's like something out of a storybook. And I would agree with that. I'm like, shut the curtain, pull that over, look at that. And I do though, she'll tell you I am like that, and I will go
And I
there and I
don't
do
mind
do
the
these
tip,
things.
by the way.
And I stay up when I stay at Toby Dewsbury and I go to her bathroom, I'll not go to any other bathroom because if anything happens to me, she can't save me. So I'm always right next door in her bathroom. I'll not go
The other
anywhere else.
bathroom overlooks the graveyard as well.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm not even playing there. Absolutely not. No way. Listen, I'll tell you something right now. I am a penis short of a poltergeist. I am not doing that. That is a man's job. That is no for me, can I just say? But listen, guys, on that note, I hope you have loved the Dudley Hotel as much as we love telling you about the Dudley Hotel. And again, if you want to read up about any of these fake sidekicks, including Derek Acora, we probably will do an episode at some point
Yeah, most likely.
exposing them. But we do have quite a lot lined up for now. Please give us any ideas or anything you want us to do because you know we are on the ball with that stuff. And let us know in the comments. Do you think the hotel's haunted? What do you think of most haunted? Fire and Derek Acora. Have you got paranormal activity in your home? All of the things we would love to hear. You know, all the
Oh,
communities
please
we're
do.
at. Yeah. My beautiful Gypsy links all of our socials. You will have my personal one. You will have the Instagram for the channel. You've got the Reddit. You've got all the good stuff. So click all of the links, do all the things, hit the bell, subscribe, and leave us all of the love. Until next time, guys, stay. What is it, Gypsy? What do you say?
Stay curious.
Bye. Buckle up,
Bye.
baby.
Buckle up, baby. Buckle up, baby. Down in the dark where the cold spots bloom, Jiltsy's got a tail, Quinn cracks the gloom. Hear the knock, hear that hiss, something's near. You don't want to miss. Buckle up, baby. It's buckle up, baby. Jiltsy and Quinn, they take you there. Buckle up, baby. It's buckle up, baby. Ghosts in the room and shivers in the air. Buckle up, baby.